5 or 6 years ago, I helped found an organization in Toronto that at that time was called Plan Toronto, but now is called Partners for Planning. And it's an affiliate of Plan in BC. And we do a number of things with Partners for Planning, but one of the things that is the most important for what we're talking about today is we have a resource network. And I can talk more in our corners as to what that is, but we provide a lot of webcasts on things about being innovative, creative, in terms of people's lives, whether it be where they live, who they spend time with, and how they share their gifts and make their contributions to community. Much of what we talk about is based on the values of L'Arche, because the families who came together to form Partners for Planning are very much L'Arche people, even though our sons and daughters don't actually live at L'Arche. So one of the reasons why I think this is exciting is because these webcasts, and we have received some funding, short-term funding, for us to build this resource network. So we have a studio, and it's a wonderful way of being able to reach a lot of people about what we're doing, what others are doing, how we're collaborating, and so I think this could also be a tool for us in terms of communicating with the broader world. Also, some of you may have heard of the Ties network, which Plan has designed, and it's a somewhat like Facebook, but it's a more contained way of communicating where it's less public. So we might want to look into that as well as something we can contribute. Right now, because the ministry has announced a call for proposals from families and individuals who would like to, who have a plan of how they would like to live in a innovative, creative way in the community. It's an opportunity for people to really get some funding, the individuals themselves, so that they can work with other people to sort of think about what they can do. So again, this is really good for the timing.
So hello everybody, my name's Amanda Armstrong, and I'm from HAND, the Housing Alternatives Network Directive. It's a 2-year grant that was given to Community Living North Halton, funded by the Trillium Foundation, and HAND was created out of the necessity. It was based on feedback from a housing information session that was held in November of 2013, and there was about 140, 150 families from the Halton region that collected that evening, and there was a lot of feedback. People put down their contact information and they said that they wanted this, that, and the other, and then sadly the communication just stopped. And a lot of these groups do spring up from time to time, and then they dissolve, and nothing really keeps going. The dialogue just ends. So it was really important that some sort of coordinator or facilitator was hired. So that's how this came about, and that's my role. I'm not placing people in homes, just to clarify. So I don't have a success story per se, but I guess what the success is right now is that dialogue is continuing, which is so important, and I'm hopefully giving it a very personable and personal touch to help families. So outside of the DSO, they only have so much time to stay on the phone and talk to a family and listen to their concerns, and the family said that they wanted the conversation to continue, and one of the ways was they asked for a Facebook to be created. And so we actually have 104 families, or 104 individuals that are on the Facebook page right now. And then in the larger HAND group, we have about just under 150 people. So it's not just families. We have families that have connections. So we have builders, contractors, we have lawyers, we have students. One of the things that I'm really focusing on right now is creating a partnership with PSW students, behavioral science students. I feel like my job is to empower families to start thinking when their children are really young, like don't wait, there's no magic pot of money that's going to fall out of the sky into your laps to help you with, with funding. So I'm telling you, you've got to start early. You've got to start looking at the natural supports in your community, which we've all been talking about. I love the intentional friends and neighbors concept. Also even legal aspects and investing your money for the future. There's a lot of families that still don't have RDSPs and haven't explored Henson trusts and even don't even have a will. So I've been holding information sessions and you know, everything from A to Z, right? What that might look like. So basically, there's the road trips, there's the information nights that I hold, there's the connecting, trying to give a personal touch.
So when we began to look at the issue of how are we going to solve this nut, how are we going to continue to be good shepherds of our parish, how are we going to continue to meet the needs of people, because housing is a fundamental need. We recognized that we had to find new ways of doing that and creating new partners. In many ways, the capital piece is the easiest piece to solve. It's a one-time cost. You can go out, you can fundraise, you find your business partners, you build your house, but the trick is in the supports. How does that work? Well, most of us know in a group home model that it's a fully funded model. And for many of us who've been involved in it, you all quite often would ask yourself the question, are the people that live here in this so-called home overserved? Do they really need all the supports that they're provided? And in fact, in caring so much for people, are we limiting people? So one of the basic ideas that we had or looked at was, well, there are really some fundamental elements of a person's support if you get away from the paid element. And so basically they're the skills and the abilities, and as John, you mentioned many times, the gifts that the individual has to provide for themselves. There's their family, and there's the relationships that they have in their community. They provide those natural and passive supports. They fill a day. They look after one another. They prevent loneliness and isolation. They do all those things very passively and very naturally. The third element then are the things that people do in their day, whether it's work or volunteering, their church, Special Olympics, whatever the community has provided for them and that they have sought in their community and acquired. So those are three. Then we look at technology. How can people be supported in ways that don't require staff? And for many people who move out into the community to live independently, sometimes one of the roadblocks can be something as simple as taking required medications regularly. Well, there's all kinds of technology out there now that can do that, and you don't need staff to look after that. And if they don't take their meds, phone rings, somebody picks it up, and you go over and say, hey, what's up? But you don't need people there every day. The other concept that we hit on, it's no different than what L'Arche discovered, is that there are supports through relationships. They don't need to be paid. But you need a way to attract and bring people in, because one of the challenges, and live-in situations have been around for a very long time. One of the challenges that I found in working with live-in situations is predictability of people coming and going, where you have a model that is based on that element of relationship. It's hard to tell when people are going to come and go, and that's not a bad thing. It's a reality, as you talked about people changing. And then the other trick is, or the other challenge is, availability. Okay, so somebody leaves, it can be hard to find somebody to replace them. And if your funding model doesn't have the elasticity to provide paid staff in that gap, you can run into trouble. And so what we did was we went to Renison University and we said, we'd like to create a scholarship program with this specific faculty within the university. And we would offer 2 academic scholarships and rent-free accommodation in exchange for those students being good friends and neighbors in the home apartment building that we're going to build. And that was the beginning. That's when Snow Goose took flight, was when the university partnered with us and we decided we would go ahead and build. So from there then, we felt we had the support piece for the most part solved, because of course you would look for people who had those elements that I described in their lives. We had the commitment from the university. So then we partnered with the region of Waterloo, their housing branch, got affordable housing dollars. We sought out other philanthropists and donors to help fund and capitalize the construction of the building. And who creates what happens here are the people that live here. Their families, their friends, the neighbors within the building. And that's the beauty of this idea. People can have community when they want it. They can retreat to their private space when they need to.